What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. And if you don't know, we've got a website, WeAreTottenhamTV.com. Go over to that website, check out our articles and leave your best comment in the comment section. And we'll be reacting to the best comments and giving away some free merchandise to the best commenter. But let's get straight into the update. We're going to start off with some potential incomings. And the first name that we're going to talk about is Santiago Jimenez. As Paul O'Keefe says, that Gimenez of Feyenoord is on an extensive list of potential forwards Tottenham are assessing. And Matt Law says that Feyenoord striker Santiago Jimenez is on Spurs' radar, although a centre-back is the club's priority in January. And there is also interest from Saudi in Richarlison, which we did bring you yesterday. In terms of his stats, he's got very strong stats this season. 18 goals, 0 penalties in 16 appearances this season in the Eredivisie, which includes 4 assists as well, which means a goal every 68 minutes in the Eredivisie, which is absolutely monstrous. In the Champions League, he's had 4 appearances, 2 goals and 1 assist as well. So not only performing in the Eredivisie, but in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, and he's having a fantastic season, a real breakout season for him. Obviously, he's a player that's attracting a lot of interest from a lot of teams around Europe with his goal-scoring record this season. From a Spurs point of view, I think a lot depends on how we really see Son and obviously the future of Richarlison, whether we go for someone like a Gimenez. If the Saudi interest in Richarlison is real and he really wants to go there and Spurs are willing to let him go, is this and we're willing to let him go in January, is that a case of then we go for Gimenez next month? If that was the case, maybe. But if Richarlison's still here and then obviously Son is Son's still around, if we were to sign Gimenez with Son and Richarlison still here, does that mean we only see Son as a winger now and not as a striker anymore? Which would be interesting, which I wouldn't agree with. I'd rather him having that role up front or on the wing. Basically, I kind of don't see Gimenez being here while Richarlison's here. I don't really see how that works. Unless we only see Son as a winger, but then I would still want to sign a winger because I just don't know. I know Son's done brilliantly on the wing past couple games, but I still have my question marks whether long term in the next 2-3 years that's going to be his main position. So I think for me, I don't see it happening in January unless Richarlison is actually looking to leave.
It also begs the question of why did we sign Alejo Veliz and what do they think of him at the moment? Because obviously he has had a couple of sub appearances, but he's not too dissimilar in age to Gimenez. Only like 2-3 years in it between them.
3 years.
So you're looking at him, and you're looking at also some other strikers coming up from the youth at the moment. So where does that leave Alejo Veliz if we do target a striker? I'm not so sure. Do they actually value him?
But it depends. If Richarlison goes and then it's Gimenez and then Veliz back up and Son there, there's still probably competition for places, but with Richarlison there as well, then I don't see it.
Yeah, you could have Richarlison and Gimenez fighting for that spot, but then I don't know. I'll be in favour of that, to be honest. I think it provides healthy competition to the number 9 spot. I'm not too bothered if Ange feels like Sonny is more natural of a left winger. I'm not too bothered about that at all. And then maybe bring in a younger left winger to kind of be an understudy to Heung-min Son. I'm more than happy to do that. But when you're looking at the ability of Santiago Jimenez and the qualities that he does have, I mean, it does seem like a bit of a no-brainer at the moment if there's a possibility to bring him in.
Yeah, I think he's obviously having a brilliant season for Feyenoord, scoring goals left, right and centre. Seems like a real... a player who could really fit our system, but again, I think there's too many moving parts for this. I just wonder what it means. I don't know. I think if we were to say Son's a left winger again, I just think it could be quite awkward, in my opinion, in terms of moving forward. Because I still question whether he's going to be at his best on the left, and then that'll create an awkward conversation.
Yeah, I guess time will tell to see what happens. But again, like, as much as I want to see Santiago Jimenez join Spurs, I just can't see us outlaying that kind of money in the January transfer window as well. In terms of centre-backs, we've got quite a few names for centre-backs to go through. As Matt Law did say, you know, Spurs' priority this January transfer window is centre-backs. The first one we're going to talk about is Benfica's Morato, as Calcio Mercato is saying that Tottenham are attempting to complete a deal to sign Morato next month. Benfica want around 30 million euros to sell the centre-back in January, despite his 100 million euro release clause, as Kia Joorabchian has been tasked with facilitating the transfer.
Interesting. And obviously we did a little deep dive into him on our live stream if you want to check that out. But he's definitely a centre-back in terms of the profile. Definitely that would fit what we want. Left-footed, 22 years of age. He's 6'3". He's strong, really good on the ball, composed as well. The only question mark is about his pace. Some people saying maybe he's not that quick. And that's definitely something to consider. But at 30 million euros, if that's possible, that's a pretty good deal potentially for the potential upside to it. So it does seem as though we're lining up a few deals with potential pulling the trigger on one. So we'll have to wait and see what one we finally decide on. But 30 million euros for a player his age and his potential ceiling seems a pretty good deal.
Everything does seem a bit too Fabio Paratici at the moment.
No,
doesn't
he's gone.
It?
He ain't part of the club.
There is no chance Paratici is gone. Everything just smells stinks of the Don.
Let's just hope he didn't leave any fingerprints behind.
Let's talk about Jean-Claire Todibo. We brought to you yesterday that Spurs are in talks with Todibo, and Rob Guest just confirming that last night, saying Tottenham have held talks over a potential move for Nice centre-back Jean-Claire Todibo. And I think we're both in kind of agreement. Like, if we can go for any of the centre-backs, if we could bring in any of the centre-backs that we're linked to at the moment, he's the guy to go for.
Yeah, and that'll be a brilliant coup if we can get him through the door, because he's very highly sought after. A lot of teams are looking at him at the moment. He's performing at a very high level in Ligue 1 at the moment. He's made over 100 appearances for Nice. He's 23 years of age. But not just that, it's the attributes that he has that makes him perfect. Like the pace issues, the pace concerns that we potentially have with Morato, we don't have with Todibo. He's also aggressive. He's great on the ball as well. I think he'd be a great partner for Van de Ven when he comes back, or even Romero together. I think they could be good together. I just think he's the perfect guy. It's just about the price. He probably is going to be the most expensive one that we're looking at.
Talking about yesterday about 35 million euros, which is.
But if that's true, then that's definitely worth it. But he's still going to be obviously that's more expensive than Morato. But I think 35 million euros, we should jump at the chances of getting him in for that price.
I think it's an absolute no-brainer to bring someone of Todibo's quality in for 35 million euros. And those are the kind of price points that Spurs seem willing to part with as well.
I question whether it is that much. But yeah, I think it'll be more, but we'll see.
The last centre-back that we're going to talk about today in terms of potential income is Radu Dragusin of Genoa, as Matt Law says that Tottenham are set to step up their pursuit of a centre-back in January and have looked at Genoa's Radu Dragusin as a possible target, who has been watched by Spurs scouts last week against Juventus. Postecoglou's priority in the mid-season market is a centre-back, and Dragusin is highly regarded at Spurs and signed for Juventus in 2018 under Fabio Paratici, who later joined Tottenham and worked as a managing director of football before resigning in April. Cough, cough. The Romania international agent Florin Manea has been quoted saying there is interest from Spurs and that early discussions have already taken place.
So obviously it's one where we're very close to it in terms of who brought him in and all that kind of stuff, and maybe we know quite a bit more about this player than from personality wise than we do about the other two, so maybe less due diligence to do. I would say when it comes to experience, he's probably more similar to Morato. Todibo's well above him in terms of top level experience, and in terms of metrics and things like that, he doesn't seem to be performing as high as the other two, but he's a bit younger, 21 years of age. Definitely has a lot of raw potential playing for a Genoa side at mid-table in Serie A at the moment. And he's one that the club probably know quite well in terms of their scouting department and things like that. So from what I can see from him, very aggressive, definitely one who is very brave on the ball as well. But whether he has that composure on the ball when we're playing out the back and things like that, and ability to find good passes and things like that, look, we have to wait and see, but definitely a lot of raw potential with Dragusin.
Look, if he's good enough for Fabio Paratici, he's good enough for me in my book. So I think look, the underlying stats might not be as strong as the other two that we have spoken about today, but I just completely trust in the scouting methods of Fabio and what he has done in the past for us. And I think he's had a lot more hits than misses so far. Well, in his Spurs tenure whilst he was here. Obviously, he did sign him for Juventus. And look, I think if we push the button on any of these centre-backs, I'll be more than happy with, to be honest.
Yeah, they all excite me in their different ways, to be honest.
Let's talk about potential outgoings, and we're going to talk about Eric Dier first, as a publication in Turkey called Takvim say that Fenerbahce have made an approach to sign Eric Dier. Board member Baki recently travelled to London to hold talks with him. Fenerbahce intend to sign him from Tottenham next month rather than wait for him until he's a free agent in the summer, which is interesting.
Yeah, I hope that moves. Again, we've seen with Dier, he's had offers on the table and it hasn't quite happened. So I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. Do I believe he's actually going to go to Turkey when he had other offers in the summer to even stay in England and stuff like that? Have to wait and see. Albeit apparently there are reports he does want to move abroad, but apparently he wants to move back to Sporting and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to want to move to Turkey or not.
Go have your time in the sun, Eric. Come on, man. It's a great move for him.
It's a brilliant move. Brilliant move. I'm all for it.
Sergio Reguilon up next. Roma publication called Il Romanista say that Roma and Borussia Dortmund are interested in signing Sergio Reguilon next month. Jose Mourinho is particularly keen and has already approved the potential move. The left-back has a clause in his agreement with Manchester United to terminate his loan early and return to Tottenham at any stage. And also Sky reporter Patrick Berger, not to be mistaken for the ex-Liverpool midfielder Patrick Berger, says that Tottenham left-back Sergio Reguilon on loan at Man United is a top target for Borussia Dortmund this winter, as exclusively reported on Friday. Bild has also confirmed the story, as Dortmund have made an inquiry for a 6-month loan. There is a January break clause in the Man United contract as it stands.
Yeah, and I think at the state of play, Man United wouldn't mind if that was activated at this point, because he doesn't seem to be that. Shaw's back fit essentially, and he doesn't seem to be very heavily favoured there. If Spurs can get a move for him, I think that'll be great for all parties. I think Dortmund are looking to replace Rafael Guerreiro, who went to Bayern Munich in the summer, so they're probably in need of a left back or some depth in that position. Obviously, Reguilon played for for Mourinho at Spurs, so they know each other well. So if he's after him, that'll be a relationship that he knows pretty well, and he was his number one pick pretty much at his time there. So I think either of those moves would be a good move for him.
Yeah, do you remember that story about Mourinho and Reguilon when they were here? When Reguilon, I can't remember what he did.
Over Christmas.
Yeah, and they bought him. He bought him this whole big thing of meat, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he said he'll buy it if we win or something. He'll buy it for him.
And then he just obeyed the COVID laws the next day, and he completely regretted it.
Yeah, and Mourinho was not happy with him, so I don't know if he still holds that against him. But if he does, maybe that Roma move won't happen. But I think he probably suits Dortmund's style of play, attacking, getting the fullbacks forward. I think he would suit that kind of football. Obviously, he did well. He did okay under Mourinho for Spurs, but I don't know if he would be a good signing for Roma playing at left back.
I feel like a Dortmund move could really help reinvigorate his career, because he was one of the most sought after left backs when he did join Spurs on the back of that brilliant season for Seville, and Dortmund like to reinvigorate these kind of players, don't they? So I think it would be a good move for him, to be honest. But let's finish off talking about James Madison, as Paul O'Keefe says that James Madison's recovery has been stepped up in Dubai with treadmill sessions. So hopefully we'll get to see Madison back sooner rather than later. In terms of injury room, which is an injury website, says that he's due back 14th of January. Which is the day before the Man United game. I think that will probably come a bit too soon for him. But if we see him back in any capacity in January, I'll be super positive.
I think injury room usually just make predictions. They can't really know. They go by what the club say. So we'll have to wait and see about what exactly he's at. But if you're on the treadmill and he's got an ankle injury, you got to assume that ankle is in a pretty good condition if he's starting to run again. So that's got to be positive. And obviously he's got to build up his fitness after being out for 2 months already. So I think that's maybe sounds like the main concern, instead of actually that ankle healing. It sounds like that ankle is, if you're running on the ankle, that's surely good to go at this point. It's just about getting that fitness up. So maybe we're closer than we think when it comes to Madison getting ready. I don't know how far away or how long it will take him to get fit at this point. But if the ankle is at a stage where you can run on it, that's really, really positive.
And also, when you're looking at the state of play for our midfielders in January, it's looking really not good, to be honest. And if we can recover Madison for that time period, it'll be a massive, massive plus for us. It can't be understated how much of a plus it can be for us. And, you know, Paul O'Keefe said a couple of days ago that Van der Ven is ahead of Madison in his recovery, and he could potentially even play as early as the Burnley game. So if Madison can be back halfway through January, because our first Premier League game in January is not till the midway through. So it'll be so positive if we can get Madison back. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.